diminishing managed utility when we stated that whenever consumer is consuming different units of a commodity within same time period, his marginal utility of every additional unit will be lower than the previous unit. So his marginal utility will be diminishing when he is consuming more units of a commodity. So here I say this is another law which says that consumer is not confined to consume only single commodity out of his income. He is able to consume more than one commodity out of his income and the prices of the goods. So when he consumes more than one commodity, how will he be in equilibrium point? So this law states that the consumer will be in equilibrium when each dollar spent on different goods gives the consumer equal satisfaction, that the utility of money is kept constant whether he spends more on commodity X or more on commodity Y, but each dollar spent will give the consumer equal satisfaction. Then consumer will be in equilibrium whether he consumes 2 goods, 3 goods, or n number of goods. For simplicity, we take only 2 goods, X and Y. So this is the mana utility of X over its price should equal to mana utility of Y over price of Y. Or reciprocally, we can say mana utility of X over mana utility of Y should equal to price of X over price of Y. That means their marginal utility ratio should equal to their price ratio. Now I give you a numeric example. Suppose marginal utility, the consumer is consuming 3 units of X and his mana utility of X for the last unit consumed is 12. Okay, so the price of X will be, if price of X that is $2, so each dollar gives him mana utility, we will find it later. But if he consumes 6 units of Y and mana utility of Y is 6 for the last unit consumed and the price of Y is also $1. So if we put the values over here, like mana utility of X is 12 for the last unit, the third unit consumed, and its price is 2, whereas the mana utility of Y for the last unit consumed is 6. So divided by its price $1 and here it is $2. So what will be the answer? We can say here it is 6 and here it is also 6. So when consumer spends $2 on commodity X, its price is $2, but each dollar will give him 6 mana utility from X, and if from Y he is also getting the same mana utility of dollar when he spends $1 on commodity Y. Therefore, the consumer will be in equilibrium when consuming 3 units of X and 6 units of Y. So he will be approaching equilibrium condition when he is going to consume the two commodities X and Y, and the ratio of mana utility to its price of X should equal to mana utility of Y to the price of Y. We can say when mana utility of X over price of X is equal to the mana utility of Y over price of Y, we say it is 12 over 2 should equal to 6 over 1. So here it is also 6, here it is also 6. So each dollar spent whether on X and Y gives the consumer equal mana utility. Can I write, I said it earlier, mana utility of X over mana utility of Y should equal to the price of X over price of Y. So what is mana utility of X? 12. What is mana utility of Y? That is 6 should equal to price of X was $2 and for Y it is $1. See over here, it is again 2 and 2. Their mana utility ratio is also equated. So when their marginal utility ratios are also equated to the price ratios, we say the consumer will be in equilibrium. Either we find this point by dividing the marginal utility to the price of the commodity, or dividing the marginal utilities of the two goods by their prices. So their marginal utilities ratios are also equated to their price ratios. So we say law of equimarginal utility states that whenever the consumer is consuming different goods, suppose we say there are n number of goods, marginal utility of nth commodity should equal to the price of nth commodity. So we say he will be or she will be in equilibrium, or he or she will be able to maximize the total utility from the consumption of two goods or many goods when each dollar spent on different goods give the consumer equal marginal utility. Then he or she will be reaching to the equilibrium point. All right. Now I am further explaining the same law by using the numeric figures that will explain more to you people how this law works. Now take the example, the income of the consumer. What is the income? Income is $12 and price of X we have taken $2, and what is the price of Y? That is $1. Now here we take different bundles which could be afforded by the consumer of two goods X and Y. So if consumer spends all his income on commodity X, so within his income of $12, how many units of X he or she is able to buy? 6 units, and nothing of Y will be purchased. Here the consumer expenditure is again equal to $12, which is the income of the consumer. When consumer spends all his income on commodity X, he buys the maximum of 6 units, but nothing of Y could be purchased by him. So this is bundle A, which is affordable within $12 and $2 price of X. So when he decreases by 1 unit the quantity of X, $2 will be released. Now $10 will be spent on commodity X, where $2, within $2 he will be able to buy 2 units of Y. Again you can see his expenditure that's equal to $12. $10 are spent on commodity X, whereas $2 are spent on commodity Y. Okay. Now this is bundle C. He buys 4 units of X and 4 units of Y. You see, here we are decreasing by 1 unit, and here we are able to increase Y by 2 units because its price is, Y's price is half than the price of X. So again we see his bundles are having the same expenditure pattern. Now the bundle D will show us 3 and I can say 6, and bundle E will show us 2, and here we find 8, and bundle G, E, bundle F will have 1 and 10, and when we find the last bundle, here the extreme condition is that now all income is spent on commodity Y and nothing of X is consumed. And here it is also an extreme condition when all X is consumed but nothing is Y. So all the bundles are equally affordable to the consumer if he spends his all in income on different consumption bundles. These are affordable bundles to the consumers. He is able to buy all these bundles within his income, and his expenditure will be again equal to $12 for all these bundles. If you find over here. Now, what are the marginal utility ratios? I will find the marginal utility ratios, then it will be more clear to you how this law works. Now see, marginal utility, this is the quantity of X, marginal utility of X, quantity of Y, and marginal utility of Y. So if he's consuming 1 unit of X and 1 unit of Y, what will be the marginal utility of X? That will be starting from, well, 16. First unit gives the consumer 16 minus utility, and second unit the minus utility will be 14, and for third unit it is 12, and for fourth unit it will be 10, and for the fifth unit his marginal utility will be 8, and for sixth unit it is 6. Okay, you can see as the successive units are consumed, the additional utility or minus utility of X is diminishing. These are the hypothetical values. I have taken them from myself in order to explain you the law. But for the first unit of Y, there is minus utility of 11. For second unit of Y, it is 10. For the third unit of Y, it will be 9. And for the fourth unit of Y, it will be 8. And for fifth unit of Y, it will be 7, and for sixth unit, it will be 6. So here we found the different values of minus utilities of X and Y when the consumers are consuming first unit, second unit, and every successive unit of X and Y, their minus utilities are diminishing. Now you can find different consumption bundles. First consumption bundle says 6 of X and 0 of Y. So what will be the marginal utility for the 6 unit of X? This is 6. If I say marginal utility of X over price of X should equal to marginal utility of Y over price of Y. So this bundle cannot maximize the satisfaction because here we find 6 over 2, but here it is 0 over 1. So this cannot be equated. So bundle A will not be giving us the consumer equilibrium point because here minus utility from the X is higher than the minus utility of Y. Therefore, one by one we are checking them. Now come towards the bundle B. Where is the bundle B? Bundle B says 5X and 2Ys. And what will be the minus utility of fifth unit of X? This is 8. Minus utility of X over price of X should equal to minus utility of Y over price of Y. So for the fifth unit, minus utility of X will be 8. 8 by 2. And what will be the second unit of Y? It is 10 by 1. So do you think it is 4 and it is 10, which is not equated? So what happens that each dollar spent on commodity Y will give him more minus utility than commodity X. Therefore, consumer will increase the consumption of Y rather than X because dollar spent on Y will give 10 utils, whereas commodity X, when $2 are spent on commodity X, the price of X is $2, then each dollar spent will give the consumer 4 minus utility. So we say this is not the consumer equilibrium point. Now come towards the bundle C. Where will be the bundle C? That is 4 unit, 4 of X and 4 of Y. So what will be the marginal utility of X and price of X should equal to minus utility of Y over price of Y. For the fourth unit of X, it is 10 by 2. And fourth unit of Y, it is 8 by 1. So it is 5. And again it is 8, which is not equated. So again we find that consumer is not in equilibrium. Even he is buying 4 of X and 4 of Y. Therefore, his consumption bundle is not maximizing his total utility. Now come towards the bundle D. Where is the bundle D now? This will give us the consumer equilibrium point. This is 3 of X and 6 of Y. This bundle, where he is spending all his income. All the bundles are showing that his expenditures are equal to income, For the third unit of X, you find here the marginal utility of X over price of X should equal to marginal utility of Y over price of Y. For the third unit, the marginal utility is 12 divided by its price of $2. And for the sixth unit of Y, we find here the marginal utility of Y is 6 over $1. You find over here it is also 6 each dollar spent on commodity X and Y will give us the same marginal utility ratio for each dollar spent. So this bundle D shows us, although all the bundles are affordable to the consumer, but where consumer equilibrium is present, this is the bundle D, where marginal utility of X over price of X is equal to marginal utility of Y over price of Y. Then their ratio of to their prices, they are equated. If we say marginal utility of X over marginal utility of Y should also equal to price of X and price of Y. So it is 12 over 6, 2 over 1. So again we have 2 and 2. Marginal utility ratios are equal to their price ratios. Can I say when consumer is paying the price equal to the marginal utility of the last unit consumed for X, and marginal utility of Y should also equal to the price of Y for the last unit consumed, then consumer will be in equilibrium. So where is consumer equilibrium point? If we say when marginal utility is higher than the price, consumer is consuming more of that commodity, where marginal utility is going to be higher than the price of the commodity. But if marginal utility is lower than the price, consumer will decrease its consumption. So the point of equilibrium is that where marginal utility ratio is equal to their price ratio, or each dollar spent on commodity X and Y will give the consumer equal marginal utility, then consumer will be in equilibrium. So this is the case of law of equimarginal utility. This tells us again that why demand curve slopes downward. Yesterday I was talking about marginal utility and price. This is marginal utility, and that's also the demand curve. When we say marginal utility is higher than the price, for the first unit marginal utility is higher than the price, consumer will buy more. And this is the equilibrium point where consumer will buy this quantity, because here marginal utility is equal to the price of the product. This is the consumer equilibrium. He does not go beyond this point, because after this price remains same, but marginal utility of every extra unit consumed will be lower than the previous unit. Therefore, the consumer is not going beyond this point. So he will be remaining at the point where marginal utility is equal to the price of the last unit consumed. So this area under the demand curve will show us the total consumer surplus. This shows the consumer welfare, that his welfare will be increasing when marginal utility is going to be higher than the price of the product. So if there is loss in consumer surplus, we can say there will be the deadweight loss or welfare loss to the consumer. When he is not able to increase his welfare, he is paying more price than the marginal utility gain, then his marginal utility is lower. So that is called the welfare loss to the consumer. What it is? The welfare loss to the consumer. So we find this law, thus this law states that the consumer will be in equilibrium when each dollar spent on different goods will give the equal marginal utility. You can also find the marginal utility, the total utility of the 3 units consumed. 16 plus 14, 30 plus 12. This will be the total utility of the 3 units. That is going to be 42 for the 3 units consumed. Whereas the managed utilities are added up for all these 6 units of Y, you can find it will be 11 plus 10, 21, 30 and 38, and then 45 and 6, 51. So this bundle will tell us that the total utility of the consumer is maximized by consuming the two goods. The total utility of X at 3 unit, that is 42, and total utility of Y at 6 unit is 51. None of the other bundle will have this maximization of total utility of the consumer, because every bundle other than D will have lower total utility than this bundle. So consumer aim is to maximize its total satisfaction. This can be achieved by adding the managed utilities of each unit consumed of the two goods. You will get the total utility of the two goods, and if we add them up, that will be the total satisfaction gained by the consumer within his given income of $12 and the prices of X and Y, which are also given to us from the market. And now he is deciding how many units he is going to buy in order to maximize his total satisfaction. So his total satisfaction will be maximized at the point where this ratio is achieved, and then we can find the total utilities. So that will give us a good idea that consumer is able to fulfill his aim of utility maximization within his income and the prices of the two goods given to us from the market. So that's all the law of equimanaged utility. We can also say this law, these two laws we studied, they are about that utility can be measured in terms of numbers, that we have taken the values of utility in terms of utils. But what are the objection on these two laws? The first objection is that utility is an inner phenomena. We cannot measure it for in terms of numbers. It cannot be measured. So when utility cannot be measured in terms of numbers, this utility theory or cardinal approach of consumer behavior will not be able to give us a good consumer analysis, because utility is unmeasurable in terms of numbers. There is no measuring method available for the consumers to measure how much satisfaction they are deriving from each commodity and each unit consumed of each good. So utility cannot be measured. So we can say this law is not prevailing because of their assumption of measurement of utility in terms of numbers. It cannot be measured. It can be different for other people. There is no standard tool to measure the managed utility or total utility for each consumer when they are consuming different goods or the same good. So consumers can rank the goods according to their satisfaction or according to their preferences, but we can't say utility is measurable. And when you go to the market, the consumers are not equating managed utility to the price. They are not behaving rationally. So when consumers show irrational behavior, so the assumption of rationality cannot be achieved. Consumers are also persuaded by the producer's advertisements, or they are doing the impulse buying. By looking at the display of the product, consumers are going to buy the products without considering the managed utility in their minds. So this is all about the drawbacks of the utility approach, why utility approach is not good in explaining the consumer behavior. Rather than this approach, the ordinal approach will be more realistic, and it will be giving us more realistic answers to the consumer analysis, how consumer is able to maximize the total utility. So these are the points for discussion when you take a question about discuss the consumer behavior, that consumers are able to maximize their utility by using cardinal approach or utility approach. You can write some of the discussion points, and at the end you can evaluate your discussion as well. So that's all for today. Now we will be taking the question answering for you people. So that's all for today.